Hey, y'all, listen. What is today? Thursday? I can't believe it's Thursday already. Thursday, December the 18th. December the 18th. Thursday. Listen, people. Happy Thursday. Hey, Juice. Hey, everybody out there. Happy Thursday, y'all. It's Trending Topics, and the title is called They Fighting. They Fighting. Listen. Diddy is getting a slight break. And the reason why he's getting a slight break is because right now, Jay-Z's team, I'm going to call it Jay-Z and team, they in a dog fight with Tony Buzbee. Now, listen, this is my score, and I don't know if my score is right, but you can tell me your score. But right now, it seems like Jay-Z and team, they up by 2. It's 2-0. Tony Buzbee, he turned around and he put out that Jay-Z was celebrity A in this lawsuit that Jane Doe has against Diddy and now Jay-Z. I don't know why they decided to do a press conference. But Tony Buzbee, you know, he felt when Jay-Z started to fight back and said, you won't get one red set. Oh, it's Wednesday. I'm sorry, y'all. Thank you. Y'all, I got it all twisted. Thank you. I got my days is all twisted. Thank you. It's Wednesday. I appreciate you. Thanks for helping the diva out. So happy Wednesday, y'all. So he put out this lawsuit. Yeah, he put out this lawsuit and accused Diddy. But before that, Jay-Z said you was trying to extort him. So they've been tug of war back and forth. So now today, Tony Buzbee comes out and he said he's suing Roc Nation. Well, that's Jay-Z, right? Okay. Listen, major changes. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening on Thursday. Must be something good gonna go down in my life that I'm pushing it to Thursday already. But yes, happy Wednesday, y'all. But you know, so he pushed out. He's suing Roc Nation. He's claiming that they're sending people and investigators in his neighborhood trying to see, you know, who and paying people to go against him and yada, yada, who. That's what he's accusing Jay-Z and team of. You know, they said you know what's funny? You reap what you sow. Didn't he do a whole press conference and put a 1-800 number out there saying that Diddy, if you knew Diddy, saw Diddy, thank you, saw Diddy. Think Diddy did something to you, call me. He said, call me. 1-800. But now that it's being done to you, you don't like it. You see how it feels. So Tony is claiming that Jay-Z and team are doing some shady stuff. And he said he got it on video and he turned it over to the authorities. You know what's interesting? He went to the authorities with these people that are posing as other people and speaking to his ex-employees, employees, or whatever, but you wouldn't take to the authorities that your client was violated at the age of 13 by said celebrity. I don't know about anybody else, but Tony, I see you. I see you. But Tony, I'm not sure if you're ready. Somebody go to Tony Buzbee's law firm website, because when I went to Quinn Emanuel, they got about 13,000 lawyers over there. I'm exaggerating, but y'all know what I mean. They got lawyer after lawyer after lawyer, which means they got paralegal after paralegal after paralegal. Tony, I don't know how much manpower you got, but apparently I already know it can't be much. It can't be much, because you didn't even vet out your client. And those are your words, not Diva's. That's why I like to look at the articles and stuff. So when I talk, I could talk from their view. Tony Buzbee said he didn't vet out the client because he got the client from another law firm. Now, you want to know what's interesting to me when I was thinking about that? I said, why would another law firm give this client to you when this case could potentially make them a bunch of money? That's another thing we need to put out there, something to think about. So Diva got a law firm. This client comes to Diva, and I vet the client out. If I vet the client out, that means that I believe what they say because I have proof. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to deal with them. That's what vetting is about. So I vet this client out, and I'm like, wow, she was there. This probably most likely did happen to her. But then I call up another law firm. Y'all take this. I want to pass off what could be possibly millions of dollars to another law firm. There's a lot of holes in this story. But Tony is sticking to it. He is. And a lot of people in the comments in the video, I like to see the comments. The people was like, Diva, that presentation that Alex Sparrow did the other day, it was full of lies. I didn't see the lies. It was a lot of logical things, and it made sense. But let's do this for 2.2 seconds. Let's call it all lies for 2.2 seconds. You tell me what gas station in this world is going to allow a minor that they saw was in distress, because that came out of her mouth. That came out of Jane Doe's mouth. The woman saw I was in distress and let me use the phone. So I see you are in distress. I let you use the phone. And after you use the phone, I just go back to regular business and say, okay, who want gas? Who wants some bubble gum, some potato chips, or want to play the lottery? I don't ask you no questions. Is somebody coming to help you? Do you want me to call the police? And I let you sit, I guess, on the concrete. I don't know, because most gas stations I know of, they don't have tables and chairs where you can sit down and be waiting for somebody. So was she sitting on the concrete? Was she sitting next to the gas pump? Was it cold outside? Did she have money to buy a soda, bottle of water, some chips? Was she hungry? Because from what we know, she had to wait 5 hours for daddy to get there. And that's in no traffic. And Claire saying, why did Solange attack him? Why? Because he's a cheater, probably. And just like I said with Diddy, just because you are a-hole, you beat on people, does that mean that every crime somebody accused you of, you have done? Yeah, maybe Solange was beating on him because she found out he cheated on her sister. And she bust him upside the head. I don't know. But what I do know is Jane Doe's story don't seem to add up. But we're going to talk about it. Okay? And we're going to talk about these different lawsuits between Jay-Z lawyer and Tony Buzbee going back and forth. I told you the other day, it's like ping pong. Ba-boop, 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 ba-boop. But we're going to get into it. Diddy had to go to court today. Diddy went to court today. They said he looking slimmer. His gray hairs are showing. Yeah, because when he was out and about in the streets, he could get, what's that dye? I used to use it. Beijing. Put some Beijing in your hair so you could dye it black. But I guess up there in the Metropolitan Detention Center, he don't got nobody to dye his hair. So the hair gray. The hair gray, he's looking slimmer. It could be stress. I don't know. But, today he had a court hearing. And there's just about discovery and some other stuff. But from what I could tell and what I saw, it seems like the whole entourage was not there for this particular court date. It was just Justin Combs and Christian King Combs. And Christian King Combs looks distraught every time he show up for that court. Clear, that ain't right. Not gray hair, Diddy. I don't know that man. I'm doing a Sean Carter. I don't know that man. I don't know Diddy. That's cute though. So only the two sons seem to be at this court date. I don't know what he's going to do in May. I don't know if they're going to be able to go there every day. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. But they also, the judge, what I did know that is the judge came out and asked, is there going to be any superseding indictments? So they asked the prosecution that. But Damien already retired. He gone. He left. He's left the building. But we're going to talk about it. And listen, we think that Diddy's lawyer and Tony Buzbee, whoever else is unhinged. The regular, average, everyday people, they unhinged. It's another airport fight. And they was getting it in. Listen, whenever I go fly anywhere, let me tell you this. First of all, I make sure I'm at the airport super early. I'm like literally waiting hours before my plane is about to pull out, fly out, or whatever. Because one, I know even though I have TSA, I have the TSA clearance, and even though that goes quicker, I don't want to be caught up in a line or miss my flight or something happens. So I get there early. So I'm never stressed. If I see a line that's yay long, I'm like, whatever, because I got about 2 hours to spare. Easy. So I don't get stressed out at the airport. And I'm not going to be stressed out before I go on my vacation, because usually when I'm at the airport, I'm going on some type of vacation. Not going to be stressed out. I'm chilling. Don't care how long the line is or is not. I got to get the gate, whatever. Okay, I could stroll to the gate. Go get me a Starbucks, use the bathroom. Go see if I want to buy a magazine for the plane. Make sure I got my neck pillow. I'm chilling. These people be getting all stressed out. Oh my God, this line is long. My plane's about to pull off. Well, you knew what time your plane was leaving before you got here, and you should have got here earlier. Now, I don't know what these two people, their stuff was about, but they was getting it in. Well, how embarrassing. You fighting in the airport. But we got to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Listen, people, I got the day together now because y'all helped me out. Listen, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's trending topics, and the title is called They Fighting. We got Jay-Z legal drama. Okay? We got Diddy's new look. He ain't got no choice but, I guess, to sport the gray hair. In the commissary, they don't have hair dye. Or maybe he said the heck with it. Right? And then we're going to talk about the airport chaos. Y'all know what I need. I appreciate you, Clear. I appreciate you, Tay. Y'all know what I need in that chat so we could get this thing started. Thank you, Flip. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics. The title is They Fighting. We got Jay-Z legal drama. We got Diddy's new look. And we got airport chaos. I'm going to bring the people on in the building. Hey, Leo.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Felicia. Hey, Tay-Tay. Hey, Julius.
Hello.
Hey
Hello.
y'all, I'm in the
Hey.
chat watching.
Come on now with the watching. Hit that like button, okay? People hit the like button. So listen, wait, let me see. Oh wait, who this Willie here? Deep, I was watching Sparkle with Jordan Sparks, and the main couple with Mike Epps made me think of Jay-Z and B. I bet they fight like cats and dogs at home. Listen. I tell you what, in that household right now, I picture, let me tell you something. I picture, not to get off topic here, I picture Tina Knowles being in the business too much. Tina in the business too much. Mama Knowles, she's in the business. She reminds me of a Joyce, Candy's mother. She's in it too much. So yeah, do I think a lot is going on in that household? A lot is going on because Tina don't know how to mind her business. But I digress, and we're gonna carry on. You know, we're going to get into let's get into first this crazy fight at the airport. Okay, let's do this. Let's get into this. Hold on, people. Y'all know the routine now. The diva working. Please hit that like button. Okay. Let me see. Crazy fight. Okay. People need to calm down. This is crazy. So Chicago O'Hare Airport, wild brawl erupts inside terminal and nobody was arrested. And this thing was crazy. Now pull your pants up, sir. This is just insane. Violence scene at the biggest airport in Chicago. 4 men get into a fight and they all win WWE by using wet floor signs and makeshift weapons, and it's all on video. The wild footage shows the 3-on-1 fight at American Airlines ticketing area in Terminal 3. And you see one guy throwing his foes to the ground like a rag doll. Our sources say the troublemakers were not American airline workers, but rather employees of concession stands in the airport. This is ridiculous. Let's take a look. Ridiculous. So with 3 guys fighting him at the same time, the man in the white shirt wails on his opponents with a broken wet floor sign like a wrestler welding a folding chair. The guy wasn't done. He got his hands on one of his attackers' dreadlocks and ripped a few out of his head. Ouch, okay? And then you see him picking up that. The fight progresses and the guy gets cornered. But when he picks up a what's that, whatever that stand is, to use as his next weapon, the other men back off. Fortunately, it doesn't look like this brawl delayed anyone's travel plans. The terminal looks pretty empty here. A rep for Chicago PD says they looked for a police report on the incident, but didn't find one on file, meaning nobody was arrested. We reached out to American Airlines, but they have not released an official statement. You know why are the people so angry? That was a fight. The people in the streets are fighting, Leo. What's going on?
Okay, well, what's happening? Okay, so I feel like this is something personal that's going on between these people, and we probably won't ever know the story. Yeah. So if 3 people show up to beat one man down, we already know that they feel like that one man is a threat. So I don't know what's going on with this particular story. Like they said, it did not stop people from getting on their flights. And yeah, there's a whole nother background story that we don't know anything about. Nobody went to jail. Yeah, what's that? It gives a lover's quarrel. Yeah, it's a whole background story that's not been that we don't know about in this particular incident. And I'm glad all came out with no injuries, no unalivings, and no police reports. So that's all I can say for good luck to all. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Leo. Felicia, your thoughts?
And good evening, everybody. Listen, that was a little short clip. It looked like it was a boring time in the airport. They didn't have anything else to do. So they decided to have a disagreement. I didn't even hear anybody saying anything. The music was so much louder than hearing any human voices. So it looked like entertainment for them. They were all just entertaining each other. And I'm with Leo. Glad nobody got arrested, no reports, and everybody's okay. I'm done.
I am too, but you know what? Yes, somebody said that man in the white shirt handled his business. He did. It was 3 against 1, and when he picked up that steel thing, they all backed down. Julius, your thoughts?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
That looked like a scene from Mortal Kombat, but we didn't hear over the intercom, "Finish him." We didn't hear that famous thing. Whew, Lord, too bad I wasn't there with my popcorn with some extra butter. I would have been laughing my butt off watching that Casino Royale.
Thank you, Julius. Tay, your thoughts?
I applaud to that guy wearing that t-shirt there. He had his business and stand ground. He said, "You want to come get me? Come get me. I got the broom right here for you. Come mess with me. Come mess with me." And you see what happened. Okay? Those guys back down. They said, no way. That's all, Diva.
They backed down. He was handling his bit, now he pulled out some of their dreads too. I cannot. But listen, guys, it's the holiday season. Some people are stressed. Be careful in these streets, because there's no need to be fighting anybody. Preserve your life, okay? Let's not do that. So we're going to move on into our next story. And so our next story, we're going to go ahead. There's always trouble at these airports. It's crazy. So our next story is with Diddy. He did have a court date today. Of course, no cameras are allowed in the courtroom, okay? So no cameras are allowed in the courtroom. So with that being said, we can only go by the people that are in there, what they say, what they saw in the artist depiction of the drawings of what the person looks like, when they're in court. So let's get into this story. And like I said, today I only saw Justin and Christian Combs at the courtroom supporting him, right? So let's get into this. So Sean Diddy Combs appeared astonishingly thinner and grayer at his new court hearing, eyewitnesses say. Okay. So let's see if we can get into this and show the little clip of them showing up. Listen, Christian Combs seems to be heartbroken. And y'all already know how I feel, and I know how y'all feel. Y'all like Diva Please, and I ain't mad at y'all. But my heart is broken for the kids. Even though they grown adults, I still am heartbroken for them. So let's take a look real quick. It's like shutting down. Let's just close that. Okay, so Sean Diddy Combs has reportedly lost a lot of weight while behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center, according to a journalist who attended a hearing in his federal trafficking case Wednesday. He appeared just astonishingly thinner, which you can expect from him being inside a federal detention center for a couple of months now. Law and crime reporter Elizabeth said after the hearing, a lot different from the luxury lifestyle that he was living before, but he appeared very noticeably thinner, and maybe being locked up in a detention center is starting to wear on him. She noted that Combs' appearance was starkly different from how he looked in a video that surfaced up online of him playing hacky sack in Central Park just days before he was arrested on September 16th. Elizabeth also noticed a change in the disgraced rapper's hair color, adding he appeared grayer a little bit. This is her. Let me see. I had the video queued up. I may have to go back to it. Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom. So Page 6 is unable to verify that account. They also reached out to the embattled musicians' lawyers for comment, but did not immediately hear back. However, a source close to Combs exclusively tells Page 6 that the Bad Boy for Life rapper is fit and healthy and fully focused on his defense. He has been very active, remains in good spirits, and as always, he was happy to see his children, the insider adds. We also told that he has been working out regularly. Combs has been in federal custody for 3 months and has been denied bail 3 times. He has been charged with as trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution following a months-long federal probe, and the trial date has been set for May 5th, 2025. That is the artist's depiction of him in court today. The Bad Boy Records founder was initially placed on a S-watch during his first week in custody, but was taken off of it shortly after, with his lawyer claiming that his client was focused and very strong. However, Mark previously admitted food is the roughest part of Combs' imprisonment. The coming home rapper's typical meal in prison reportedly consists of cereal, fruit, or pastries for breakfast, hamburgers, fish, or beef tacos for lunch, and chicken fajitas, pasta, or roast beef for dinner. For Thanksgiving, Combs enjoyed a usual holiday spread, including turkey rolls, mashed potatoes with gravy, mixed vegetables, cranberry sauce, and dinner rolls. According to TMZ, his Christmas meal will consist of a special lunch menu that includes baked Cornish hen, macaroni and cheese, cranberry sauce, dinner rolls, and holiday dessert. A former inmate at the MDC in Brooklyn, New York, said in October that Combs' celebrity status won't help him get special treatment or perks. His money and wealth won't get him any benefits, Timothy Smith told Daily Mail Australia at the time. People think there are TVs and radios, but where he's at, there's nothing, not even a radio. You get a Bible and 1 book per week. That's all. An attorney for Edwin, an inmate who was unalived at the NDC due to an injury he sustained in a fight, described the facility as overcrowded, understaffed, and neglected federal jail that is hell on earth. That was the boys again showing up today, and Christian may need to be in therapy because this, I think, is breaking him. But he got to understand that, your father has to suffer some consequences of what he allegedly did. Elizabeth also shared Wednesday that Combs appeared in better spirits when he saw his sons Christian Combs and Justin Combs enter the courtroom. His other 5 kids were reportedly not present. She noted that the last night rapper smiled, beamed up, and waved at his 2 sons. Aside from his federal case, Diddy, who has pleaded not guilty and denied all wrongdoing, is facing several civil lawsuits for SA claims. There we have the latest update. He was in court today. Leo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty much, he was in court today, and yeah. So pass me, Diva. I'm good.
All right. Felicia, your thoughts?
I think they're concerned because both of them are looking at possible jail time as well. They don't really want to go there.
Oh, the kids? Oh,
yeah, well, don't they got something outstanding on them?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, stop using the name Christian and you might get over it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just call him by his last name. Keep it moving. I'm with Leo. I'm done.
Oh my God. Where am I? I just got lost. Julius, your thoughts?
What is this? The family of convicts? Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay, so wait, hold on, Tay. I'll come to you, but give me a minute. I want to show something.
All right, welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. So we are covering this live hearing that is happening downtown in federal court in Manhattan regarding Sean Diddy Combs. There was a hearing, short hearing between the prosecution, the defense, and the judge regarding evidence, regarding discovery in this case. And it seems it's progressing its way towards a May 5th, 2025 trial date. But I'm not going to talk about it myself. I want to bring on Elizabeth Milner, who is actually in that courthouse for us. Elizabeth, so good to see you. So 2 things for you. A, if you could briefly describe what the scene looked like, and more specifically, what did you observe of Sean Combs, who was in that courtroom? And B, what happened in court? What were the big takeaways?
Hey, Jesse. Great to see you as always. Today was a little bit different in that I got to the courthouse got inside the courthouse, I should say, about 15 minutes before 1 p.m. That shows you how early I was in there. And I was actually surprised to see less amount of journalists there kind of waiting for this hearing to get started. And so, comparing that to last hearing where it was just a ton of journalists just waiting to get inside that courtroom, this time was completely different in that it was probably about less than 20 journalists altogether. So when we were all kind of ushered up into the 15th floor this time, as opposed to the top floor like the last hearing, it was a lot smaller courtroom, but still the similar makeup of the courtroom. So you have one side where it's going to be Diddy's family members, it's going to be the general public, maybe some extra defense lawyers or those who work for the defense side, at least, kind of sitting over to the left side. And then on the right side where I was sitting, it's going to be all flooded with journalists, as well as some other members of the prosecution team who kind of help with that case as well too. And so we all went up to the courtroom probably around 1:45 today. We're waiting to get this hearing started. It was interesting too, because this time around, Diddy was brought in first. He was brought in about a couple minutes after 2 p.m. today. And we were all kind of waiting to see, we had heard mumblings that his mom might be in courtroom, that we were waiting for the children, but then nothing happened. But then, in another twist and turn, the children do walk in, but this time it was a lot smaller bunch than it was the last time. So last time you're having all of Diddy's children, except with the exception of Love, who is just a 2-year-old child, so she wasn't at court. But you had all of Diddy's children there except Love. But this time around, you just had Justin Combs and Christian Combs, meaning that there was no Quincy there today. Delilah and Jesse weren't there. Chance wasn't there, and the caretakers of his younger children who aren't of age just yet, they were not present inside the courtroom as well today. But his mom also wasn't in court today. So when Diddy came inside, it was still that standard issued MDC jumpsuit. He's wearing khaki. From that video of, I think that was obtained by Daily Mail back in September, of Diddy playing hacky sack in Central Park, to now he appeared just astonishingly thinner, which you can expect to be inside a federal detention center for a couple months now. A lot different from the luxury lifestyle that he was living before, but he appeared very noticeably thinner, and maybe being locked up in detention is starting to wear on him. He appeared grayer a little bit as well too, but again, he appeared just like how you would expect Diddy to appear for a hearing. He, when he came inside the courtroom, he hugged his attorneys. He especially hugged Anthony Rico. Then he had hugged Alexandra Shapiro as well too. But then he kept kind of looking at the gallery. Now, again, this was at a point where Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, weren't inside the courtroom just yet. But instead, whenever they came inside the courtroom, and again, this was after Diddy was already sitting down at the defense table, he looked back immediately. He smiled. He beamed up. He waved at at his 2 sons, and just kind of gave them like kind of a little bit of, it's a good to see you type of feeling. That's what I was gathering from inside that courtroom. Now, again, I want to remind our viewers that when we're inside federal court, again, there's no cameras, which, Jesse, I'm sure you have already mentioned that part. But, even for us journalists, with the exception of some who get a special permission of that, we just are relying on a notebook, a notepad, a pen, a pencil, in order to kind of take notes to see what is all going on. I can't even take my Apple Watch inside that courtroom whenever there's a hearing. I have to turn that in. I have to turn my laptop in. Of course, I have to turn my phone in. So we're kind of just eye watching everything that's going on. Now, when Christian and Justin everyone came inside that courtroom, they were actually sitting just right across from me over on the left side of the gallery. So what I was seeing from both of his sons was a little bit of leg shaking, what I perceived to be a little prayer right before the hearing had actually started as well too. But again, I think their focus was maintaining a good face for their father, being supportive of their father, which you expect at this point because they've attended pretty much all of the hearings so far, with the exception of that emergency hearing that happened, I believe, back in October now. But then they kind of just stood and sat and just kind of listened to what was all kind of happening. Again, that court hearing was pretty quick. It was about 30 minutes long. I think all of us were kind of surprised that the hearing did last that short amount of time as opposed to last hearing, which was about 2 hours or so. But, as our viewers kind of want to get an inside glimpse of what you see at a federal courtroom, you're going to see the defense table and then you're going to see the prosecution table right in front. So it's not like how we see in normal trials where it's like right across from each other. It's like the defense, it is the prosecution, and then of course you're going to have the judge on the bench, and you're going to have the court sketch artist and the person who is kind of transcribing all of what is going on. But that is pretty much the inside glimpse of what I got from inside that courthouse.
And just and appreciate that. That's a really vivid description of what it looks like, because unfortunately we don't have cameras in that courtroom, and there's no cameras expected in that courtroom as this trial progresses, even though there are a lot of people watching this and following it. So just to go back, what were briefly some of the main takeaways about what happened today? What was the discussion about, and where are we left? Where does this case go? What was being decided between the prosecution, the defense, and ultimately the judge?
Yeah, Jesse, it was a lot of just discovery material, which isn't the most fun topic to really talk about, if we're being honest here a little bit. So a lot of things was just turning over evidence, what time frame that evidence will be turned in. And so from what, so the government says that they're on track to produce the discovery by the end of the year, meaning December 31st. They say the investigation is still ongoing. They said that they pulled all the text messages from Combs as well as victim one in this case. And then they're kind of proceeding as quickly as possible when it comes to that superseding indictment. So the government was trying to make it clear that, they're still in the process of doing the investigation. It still seems like the superseding indictment is still lingering on in the case. But it was also interesting, too, because, we have covered a number of stories about kind of the response from the defense side and kind of talking with the prosecution here. But I noticed whenever I was inside that courtroom that there was a lot of like chumminess going on. There was a lot of laughs, a little bit of giggles coming from Mark Agnifilo talking with the prosecutors right before the hearing had started. So they seemed, you wouldn't think that they're in this kind of, fiery battle or anything about the case. They seem pretty chummy. They seem very cordial. And they both sides seem to have respected each other in terms of turning over that evidence, making sure that every deadline is hit and that type of sort. Now, there was a pending motion that the judge did bring up that, at the time, Judge Submaranian did mention that he wanted to keep, he was possibly thinking about denying that motion, but instead what he did was the defense time, a lot of music kind of going on here in the background. But what the defense says is that their preference was to keep that motion open. So that way, the judge wouldn't dismiss it with a little bit of prejudice, which means that they could have refile the motion. But, that didn't happen. The defense kind of appeared that they just wanted the motion to stay open, see what would happen with all of that. But, it seems like we will not be seeing any bit of Diddy until March when the next hearing is going. But it seems like they're all kind of going along with the timeline. It seems that they appear to be ready to get started on May 5th, pending whatever goes on with the potential superseding indictment, which, again, I just want to stress to our viewers that has not been issued at this time. But it seems as though, they're on track for a May 5th trial date. But again, also, with this time frame given, that's 5 months, meaning 5 more months that Diddy is still behind bars until we kind of see how this entire trial plays out. But for the most part, that's what I gathered from this really quick hearing.
Listen, Elizabeth, that is incredibly helpful. And also, it's great that somebody drove by with a great taste in music as well. That's a side note. But I will say, now we kind of know where this is going. I'm still surprised this is headed towards a May trial date. We shall see what happens. Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much for going down to the courthouse, reporting back to us, and great reporting as always. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. Again, I want to thank my guest, Elizabeth.
All right, so that was just a little bit more to the update there. Do you have anything to say on this particular story, Tay Tay?
All I say is Justice and Christian both need to get a job. What they expect a paycheck and still come into the way. I said one of those boys better still pay their car insurance that they need to. Even though we did talk about Diddy, he said I don't give a crap about that car that we talked about last time, Diva. Mm-hmm. And while he was in the jail. And now you waving your kids at that what you say about that too? If I was those kids, I would cut him tied loose like I said before. And just let him sit there forever. Wow, they say he was still skinny because he still think they still gonna poison him over there. That's why. If I was Diddy, I don't know, what you expect me eat the food when they go force me in there, or just starve to death? I don't even know. That's all, Diva.
Thanks, Tay. Again, I'm gonna say connected to this case. It was small. It's interesting though that not too many journalists was concerned about going there. I think once he got denied bail, once he stopped fighting for bail, I guess they said, okay, our next time to really tune into this is May when he's actually on trial. Again, I do feel for the kids, and there are children that their parents aren't even in any type of trouble like this, but their parents still pay for the entire lifestyle. I ain't saying this right. I'm just saying it happens, right? So we're going to go ahead and roll into this last story. First, I'll start out by saying that today, Tony Buzbee, he came out and said he's suing Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and the Quinn Emanuel law firm. And then, Jay-Z's team pretty much hit back and said that, Tony Buzbee, and I'm going to just paraphrase it, is a whole fraud. He's a fraud. They said that Tony Buzbee is a fraud and he has done this type of thing before with other cases, and he needs to be sanctioned by the court. So first I'll share a screen and we'll get into the Tony Buzbee lawsuit today. Let me just see if I have it here. Did I queue it up? Okay, I might have. Let me stop sharing for 1 second. Let me go back to my queue up of the Tony Buzbee. Did it leave my queue? Get 1 second, y'all. I'll find it really quickly. All right, here we go. Somebody seems to not be on mute, but it looks like everybody's muted. I'm hearing noise. All right, so let me just share screen. All right. So today, the Buzbee law firms filed suit against Roc Nation and lawyers Mercy Croft and Quinn Emanuel for violation of various state laws, including barratry and impersonation of a public official. The case was brought on behalf of a former client of the firm who was illegally solicited by agents working on behalf of the defendants. These agents pretended to be working for the state of Texas and offered the former client money to sue the Buzbee law firm. This illegal conduct has happened more than 24 times to date and has resulted in 2 utterly frivolous cases against the firm. The lawsuit filed today alleges that the defendants' conspiracy is intended to obstruct justice and prevent the Buzbee law firm from pursuing cases related to the Diddy litigation in New York. The conduct isn't just alleged, it was caught on tape. Defendant Mercy Croft, who describes herself on social media as part of Team Roc, is orchestrating the conspiracy along with assistance from defendant Quinn Emanuel. As you can see from the screenshot, Croft, Quinn Emanuel, and Roc Nation have a long working history. The suit alleges defendant Roc Nation is financing the illegal effort. As set forth in the lawsuit earlier this week, agents acting on Croft's behalf again were caught on tape soliciting and offering money up to $10,000 to former clients of the Buzbee law firm to convince them to file a frivolous case against the Buzbee law firm. And one of the secret recordings, the scheme is described in detail. What we're trying to do is we're trying to put this thing together for the company that we're working for. We could get you paid. You could get money right soon. You know, we gave this kid $1,000 to start yesterday just to get him on the right path. At the end of the day, this is going to go through the courts. Buzbee is getting sued. The company referenced in the recording, of course, is Roc Nation. More egregious in some instances, the agents carrying out their legal scheme pretend to be acting on behalf of the state of Texas as they're becoming more demanding. Ever since I sent a basic demand letter to the lawyers for Jay-Z, myself, my family, and the lawyers and staff of the Buzbee law firm have been under attack. These folks have now stooped to a new low to try to intimidate the lawyers of the Buzbee law firm from doing their important work. Not only have they contacted my family members as well as family members of employees of the firm, they are now contacting clients and former clients and actually offering them money to sue me. The conduct was specifically targeted at our firm so we could not pursue cases related to the Diddy litigation. Let me be clear. We will not be bullied or intimidated. The defendants this time overstepped, got sloppy, and stupidly got caught at their illegal scheme on tape. We have reported this conduct to the authorities and intend to cooperate with the authorities to ensue all involved are prosecuted to the full extent allowed under Texas law. So then he puts this post here to prove that this individual, Marcy, is connected to Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and Quinn Emanuel. Okay. And that was updated. He put a little more information in it because the one he wrote earlier didn't detail what was in the actual video that they said they taped. And so he updated it to add the information, a little bit of detail that was in the recording that he recorded when these alleged agents that he is claiming was sent by Diddy, you know, to his information. So Diddy's I'm saying Diddy to Jay-Z. I'm mixing these two names up, but it's just a mix up with Diva when saying the names, right? So let me just go now share this. Buzbee is a mess, major changes. He is. It's so much information, but let's get some of it out and I'll interject with some more in between. Jay claimed Tony Buzbee tried to extort the rapper. Okay. And he's been saying that from the beginning when he filed his lawsuit to sue Tony Buzbee. He said from the very beginning it was an extortion attempt and he wasn't here for it. Okay. So Jay-Z legal team is going after Tony Buzbee for alleged misconduct, claiming he tried to extort the rapper, and when he couldn't, he then proceeded to sue him. The Star's lawyer, Alex Spiro, filed a motion Wednesday to dismiss a Jane Doe lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy, specifically calling out Buzbee for bringing the legal action. According to Spiro's motion, Buzbee initially described Jay-Z as a prominent person in the lawsuit without naming him. Spiro's accusing the Texas-based attorney of demanding money to keep Jay's identity under wraps. Spiro says his client refused, prompting Buzbee to file an amended suit revealing Jay's identity and alleged role in the alleged R of a 13-year-old way back in 2000. As we told you, NBC News released a report after the lawsuit was filed, claiming there were multiple inaccuracies in the accuser's story. From where Jay-Z and Diddy partied after the Video Music Awards that year to her father not remembering that he picked her up after the alleged assault. Spiro also says Buzbee did little to no fact-checking of his client's story, snirking his legal obligations while trying to throw the blame on the rest of his law firm. The motions highlights Buzbee's past misconduct too, including a track record of employing suspect tactics to gain an unfair advantage in the course of litigation. They even mentioned an old case Buzbee was involved in where he admonished for statements he made about former pro baseball player Scott Erickson. Buzbee represents multiple alleged victims who has filed civil suits accusing Diddy of S crimes. Spiral's asking a preservation order to protect key evidence from being destroyed and the court to strike the complaint against Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee says they are really reaching to the point of being ridiculous. They're now asking the court to dismiss because I supposedly acknowledged during my defense of a client in a double M case in LA. Is that how the case will be decided based on some allegations from another unrelated case several years ago? If so, should we then examine and determine how many times Quentin Emanuel has been acknowledged? He continues, or maybe we should look at the current conduct of defense counsel who has fluted the rules and knows that people working on his client's behalf are paying investigators to sue my law firm. These people keep going to new lows and have a lot of nerve to be throwing around reckless and baseless accusations. So listen, the law teams are fighting. I do have another document where
happy holiday.
I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but we are going to hit some key points so you can understand what's going on. Let me just skip there a little bit. Oh wait, let me back up a little bit. Okay, a little bit more. Okay.
Buzbee has made quite a name for himself, filing some huge lawsuits. Most recently, we told you about the more than 100. I think he said 120.
Well, 120
probably
clients.
More.
He hasn't filed all the lawsuits, but he is sending demand letters out in the Diddy case, settling some, we're told, filing lawsuits for others. So he is the most active attorney going after Diddy civilly.
Right. But now he finds himself as the defendant in a lawsuit from one of his former clients.
So she was getting divorced. Tony Buzbee was representing her according to the summons. And she says she was in a public place when Buzbee came upon her in the middle of representing her and went into a bit of rage, according to her, and shoved a champagne flute into her face and chipped her tooth. She says she has medical records and dental records to prove that this happened. And now the dogfight, because Tony Buzbee says this is all made up, he says.
Yeah. Tony Buzbee is saying, look, this is crazy fiction, like really crazy, like ridiculously crazy. That was what was his comment to us. He says he chalks it up to being a target now that he's filing all these cases against Diddy accusers. He's like, they're filing extortion cases and I'm going to become a target. This is fiction. He's going to fight it. But the woman's suit also alleges malpractice, says she was represented by him in a divorce case, lost millions of dollars as a result of how he represented her in that case. So it'll get interesting. He's going to have to defend this as he would any other lawsuit.
She is also suing for malpractice. She says that
because of those decisions that came in the divorce case.
Because of in connection with the divorce case, and it's very technical and complicated, but basically she's saying she lost millions of dollars because of what he did or didn't do.
Advice, right.
So again, Tony Buzbee is saying BS, but what's happened is in New York, you have to file a summons showing your intent to sue. 21 days later, you actually file the formal lawsuit with the with all the particulars.
So my name's Trey Brooks from Atlanta. This is crazy. It seems like a lot of drama follows Diddy no matter what side of the aisle he is. That said, it kind of seems like a coordinated attack. But to be fair, Attorney Buzbee is representing 120 victims against Diddy. This may be an attempt to intimidate him, but you have to question the timing of the victim as well. But I just hope everyone gets justice in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can never tell from a lawsuit. And I think it's important to say this. People can file lawsuits and everything in it may be true. Some of it may be true. None of it may be true. And you have no idea. You can't make a judgment just by a lawsuit. You've got to hear the evidence. You've got to see what the response is. So the real way of reacting to this is, we don't know. I'm serious.
Right.
That's the way you react.
I know. No, that's so unsatisfying for people.
Because they want to jump to conclusions, and that's one of the problems. You can't automatically believe or disbelieve it.
So you see how it's just a dogfight, so to speak. And like they said, you don't know in these situations true from false, because you're just hearing all different types of information, and you're kind of making your own little judgment based upon what you hear, what to believe versus not believe. So this is pretty much, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, it's pretty long, but it's what Jay-Z's team filed. First of all, they want the judge to just dismiss the case, so that's number one. But you pretty much heard the recordings of why they're suing Buzbee and why Buzbee is piping back. But they're saying that Alex Sparrow and Quinn Emanuel saying that the people are coming to them because just like Tony Buzbee put out a 1-800 number, said, you know anything about Diddy, call us. They put out a number, said, listen, if you've been wronged by Tony Buzbee, call us. So what's good for the goose got to be good for the gander, right? So I'm going to just go through a little bit with y'all because, you know, the memorandum is long. So defendant Sean Carter's memorandum of law in support of his emergency motion for an order to show cause and an order for preservation of evidence and to strike the complaint and dismiss Mr. Carter from this action. So the main thing is they want Jay-Z name. They want this Jane Doe case to be dismissed against Jay-Z, right? Because they're saying the math is not mathing. And I'm paraphrasing for y'all because, like I said, it's a long document. So factual background, they show Buzbee's misconduct in this lawsuit. And part of his misconduct in this lawsuit is Law 101. He didn't vet his client. Buzbee misconduct in other lawsuits. So they're showing that, you know, he's not a reliable lawyer, so to speak, right? And then they go a legal standard. They go their argument that they want him to preserve evidence because what they're saying is if this thing does go any further, then he needs to preserve evidence. So when the discovery comes, they have a right and they have something to work with and fight with. Okay. And then they said Mr. Carter faces a significant risk that Buzbee will destroy relevant evidence. Absent a preservation order, Mr. Carter's right to conduct full discovery will be irreparably harmed. The burden on Buzbee to preserve evidence is negligible. Okay, so it's a lot and it's interesting, and I did read the whole thing, so I'm gonna try to do some highlights for you. The preliminary statement here, I'm gonna tell you, if you watched with us yesterday, that press conference that Alex Sparrow did, where he had a whole PowerPoint presentation, and he said the math wasn't mapping, the timeline wasn't mapping. This girl would have had 37 minutes to get to this house, and for her to be argued and by two people, and then walk to a gas station before that said gas station would be closed. It is almost darn near impossible. So that's why they're saying that pretty much you need to dismiss this because it's a joke. I'm just going to read one paragraph because I gave you the summary, and then we'll jump down to some other stuff, right? So because this is all from the press conference yesterday, this beginning part, and you can go to my video from yesterday if you need to catch up. So omissions by plaintiff and damning omissions by her own father in the December 13 revelatory NBC interview cast yet further doubt on a claim that was obviously false from the start. The timeline, location, and occurrence of events alleged in plaintiff's complaint are rendered impossible by these omissions. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. He's never taken that 5-hour trip. She claims she spoke with the musician Benji Madden that night. He was not even in New York. She claims the assault took place at an after party hosted in a private residence. Photos show Mr. Carter at an after party at a nightclub. When pressed by NBC, the plaintiff was forced to admit, I have made some mistakes. I have made a mistake in identifying. Not all the faces there are as clear. And even that she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. What is more, she admits she does not have a single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. And then the thing that puts the nail in the coffin, the person that allegedly drove her to this set award show is no longer alive. Is that not a little ironic and convenient? But again, that was just a summary of why they're saying that this case needs to be thrown out. Now, I will tell you, we're going to come here to this middle part here. And pretty much what they're saying is that that Buzbee had a duty to vet his client, and by his own admission, he did not. Not only do these extraordinary inconsistencies undermine plaintiff's case, they highlight severe misconduct by her counsel. They said severe. Anthony Buzbee and the Buzbee law firm, unable to escape the foundational cracks in plaintiff's story laid bare by the NBC interview, Buzbee was forced to backpedal, okay, repudiating the very allegations he signed his name to. When you sign these court documents, there's always fine print that you're telling the truth, this, that, and the other. Listen, people, when you start dealing with the courts, it's no joke what you sign your name to. In an attempt to defect from his own failures, he forced blame on another law firm, claiming the case was vetted before it was sent to him. And so concerned is Buzbee that he is now having his clients sit for a polygraph. The takeaway is obvious. Buzbee failed to undertake a reasonable inquiry into the facts before filing the complaint, and then amending it to assert a claim against Mr. Carter, despite an affirmative duty so under Rule 11. But this was just one step in his cavalcade of misconduct. Though he has signed his name to pleadings and other documents filed in the case, Buzbee has declined to seek admission to this court, apparently seeking to circumvent the court's authority to enforce Rule 11. Okay, so now they're on Buzbee's neck. So Buzbee rule breaking also extends beyond this action. They're saying he has a long history of abusing the legal process and shirking ethical responsibilities. In a case in California Superior Court, for instance, Buzbee was admonished by the judge for violating pre-trial rulings. So they're trying to give some case study here to say that this man is just fraudulent. And a federal court in Texas rejected a free arrangement orchestrated by Buzbee and his firm because it violated public policy. The fundamental inconsistencies in plaintiff's case revealed in the NBC interview, coupled with Buzbee's chronic inability to follow the rules in this case and others, creates a substantial risk that Buzbee will destroy evidence damaging to plaintiff's case, including evidence of his own misconduct, impairing the integrity of the judicial process. An order immediately mandating the preservation of all evidence relevant to this case is necessary to ensure Mr. Carter has a full and fair opportunity to present his defense against plaintiff's fictitious claims. The Buzbee is not admitted to this court and is apparently attempting to avoid its disciplinary authority. Only underscores the pressing need for such an order for the same reason of all plaintiff allegations about Mr. Carter are scandalous, warranting striking from the FAC under, and they give the case as well. So they go to the factual background and they tell all of the Buzbee misconduct in this lawsuit, how he first filed it with just Mr. Combs' name, and then later on he came back and filed it with Jay-Z's name, but that was only after Jay-Z's lawyer said that he could not extort them, for money. Let me see what else I want to really point out here. Again, they talk about how her own father said he don't remember picking her up. And then they go into Buzbee's misconduct in other lawsuits previous to this one. They just want to show the judge there's a track record with him not being so, not being upright and upfront. And then you saw the video I played where, is one client that is suing him and she gives the reason why. Okay. So they give several cases here. as to where Buzbee was not so upfront and upright. Legal standards. I'm trying to think what else I want to show you in here. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. I don't want to sit here and read the whole thing. And this is signed by Alex Spiro. And so I'll go to the conclusion for you. For reasons stated above, a preservation order is necessary to ensure that plaintiff and her counsel, Buzbee and the Buzbee law firm, preserve all evidence relevant to this case, and given the NBC interview reviewed the meritless nature of the allegations against Mr. Carter, the FAC should be stricken under Rule 12. As such, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court issue the attached proposed order to show cause, ordering Buzbee and his firm to show cause as to why a preservation order should not issue and why the FAC should not be stricken, and Mr. Carter dismissed from this action, and to set a hearing on this motion for Thursday, December 19th at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter as the court deems appropriate. So they want immediate response. They just gave this on the 18th and they like, we want a date tomorrow in court. This is a dogfight, people, and it's messy. Felicia, your thoughts?
Wow, Diva, that was a lot. That was a lot. I'm gathering from what you're reading in that memorandum that the judge is not moving in the direction to dismiss this case.
Right.
And so they have gone to work again in 24 hours to put up this memorandum to show cause, to let the judge know that they're not going to let up on the judge either. So if the judge is going to go forward with this case and not dismiss Mr. Carter from it, they're asking that certain evidence be preserved because according to the defense, there is no evidence because this didn't happen. So whatever it is that they have, they're asking that it be preserved, and that they're also citing Mr. Buzbee for having violated this Rule 11 law. And so it seems so multi-layered, this case. It's getting deeper and deeper, and who's going after who. As far as Mr. Buzbee going against Rock Nation, so he's now saying it's Mr. Carter and Rock Nation that's been bribing him and extorting from him. So I guess we'll get to see what bribe and extortion looks like in 2025, because I'm confused as to what was said or what was, delivered to make him feel like he was in that situation. So good luck to the judge on this case. This is getting far messier than any of the cases we've heard thus far this year. I'm done.
It is. Thank you, Felicia. So I said yesterday that this judge got a feet ahead of him or her. I don't know, who the judge is. And the reason why I said that was because dismissing Jay-Z from this case, if it was just Jay-Z named by this Jane Doe, I feel, this is just diva thoughts, that the judge probably would have dismissed it. But I think the hard part now is when you dismiss this case, like I said yesterday, you can't dismiss Jay-Z and not Diddy from this particular case. But then when you dismiss it, it indirectly says that Buzbee is a mess. And then that leaves scrutiny for all 20 cases that he already filed against Diddy. This is a hot, nasty mess. But I also will say this. I really feel like Buzbee is going down a road that he is not prepared for. It's nasty. Especially because the other day, I don't know where this client went. The client, there's another client that said that Buzbee won his lawsuit, and instead of giving him his money, he was kind of loaning him his own money. And I'm paraphrasing there because I got to go back and get all the details on that. But that client was accusing or alleging that Buzbee didn't just give him a check. He was kind of loaning him his own award money from his case. Tay, your thoughts?
Or Buzbee did not do his homework right. because his name is going through mud right now. That's all, Diva.
Thank you. Chloe, what's going on in these streets? What's happening? Oh my, oh my, oh my. Leo, your thoughts?
I'm with Tay on this one, right? So from everything I can gather, Tony Buzbee underestimated his opponent.
Yes.
He really did underestimate how offensive these allegations would have been to a Jay-Z. And the money and power that he has behind him. He totally he was playing, he really just did not get it. He thought he was still dealing with the level of Puffy, but Jay-Z is at a whole nother level, and he did not really understand. He did not read the terrain. He did not read the room. He did not really understand what such allegations would mean when he took it public, because he did send a demand letter and it was refused. And at the point where it was refused, then they should have went into deep research. Tony Buzbee moved into his feelings, which he should have moved into the facts. And the facts at the end of the day is that Jay-Z money is longer than his. And he could do the whole fight if the information that y'all had was wrong. And I will say that Tony Buzbee doesn't have any other recourse but to sue Jay-Z and his legal team in return. Because, see, this is the thing, right? Tony Buzbee did not understand the fight he was in. So now Jay-Z is fighting for his reputation, where now Tony Buzbee is fighting for his livelihood. So he has to, sue Jay-Z and say, y'all came through and did this and did this and did that. Well, those are the same tactics that Tony Buzbee has used. So you mad at the other man to turning around and using the same tactics against you that you use against him? Oh, okay.
Then he gave out a 1-800 number. And Diddy did you wrong with call me.
Huh?
I said he gave out a 1-800 number, right?
He did. And he was collecting checks. He was collecting checks on those demand letters. So now I'm interested in trying to see whether or not, if this is what you did on your good name, Tony Buzbee, like on your good name, fighting for the little people, and handing them out $5,000 or $10,000 when you got probably $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 on demand letter. So I'm just trying to see right now, when somebody really did not take you seriously and was not threatened by you, then now what are you going to do next? He did file paperwork against the lawyers and the attorneys that work for Jay-Z and their practices. But I think it's pretty, at this time, I think it's pretty much mute, because he also engaged in those same practices. And I think that will come up in the lawsuit, but he's fighting for his livelihood. So he needs to do that. Whereas Jay-Z is just fighting for his reputation.
Right.
And I think that is what's going to make the difference. And I would predict that Tony Buzbee is getting ready to go broke.
Jeez.
Fighting these particular allegations of him not being a credible attorney. Because after this, will he have other clients? Win or lose? Like, will he have other clients? Will he do another 1-800 number for another case? Will he trying to latch on to? Because listen, he is the one that called in on the line on this. Nobody called for him. Nobody called for Tony Buzbee. He is the one that interjected himself into this case. Nobody called for him. He interjected himself. And I think that is a cautionary tale as well. Don't be an ambulance chaser on all cases, even though, because I think he's been successful with this strategy until he came against somebody that would not bow down to it.
I feel that way too.
So that's it. That's it. I'm off the line. That's all I got.
I think he saw Jay-Z. He said, this man got money. He's not going to want his name out here like this and no scandal connected to Diddy. And he's going to just write this check. And then
Jay-Z called his bluff. Like Jay-Z really called his bluff. I ain't paying not one red penny. And then Tony Buzbee said, okay, then we're gonna add you to the lawsuit. And now Tony Buzbee is fighting for something different than Jay-Z is fighting for. Like Jay-Z got all the money. Like Tony Buzbee ain't got all the money. He really miscalculated this strategy. He really messed himself up on this one.
I agree with you on that. Louise, your thoughts?
Buzbee was playing checkers while Jay-Z's lawyer was playing chess. He didn't understand the assignment. He didn't take it seriously. He didn't do his homework thoroughly. So he thought he could just get away with stuff. But then he found out he met his match. And when Jay-Z challenged him, man, I hope he got some other income. That's all.
I appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
Buzbee thought, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Buzbee thought he was going to make a chunk out of Jay-Z. Jay-Z's like, now let me remind you why I put out the song, I have 99 problems, but ain't one. And he's giving him that lesson. He can't handle it.
Well, listen, guys. I appreciate their I'm trying to think of another word besides arrogance. I'm talking about Alex Sparrow and Quinn Emanuel, that law firm. But the right to let and tell the judge you want a court date tomorrow. First of all, we are 2 seconds from the holidays. And they have lighter schedules on the court docs for the holidays, right? Because they really put stuff on there that they know they ain't going to take that long. Because listen, the holiday party, the luncheon is downstairs at 2:00 and everybody wants to be there to get their chicken and do their gift exchange or whatever. And then, that really towards, when it's getting closer to Christmas, they not playing all that. And then right after Christmas, it's the New Year's. So the put in there that you want, you submitting the document on the 18th and you want a court date at 9 a.m. So you want the first darn near line on the docket. You want it tomorrow at 9 a.m. I think that I appreciate everything that Quinn Emanuel office is doing, but I think they need to calm down. Don't try to punk the judge. You want to be on the judge good side and just say, if I would have been like, okay, can we get a date as soon as possible? We want to put this behind us. Not no court date tomorrow and then at 9 a.m. You giving the date and the time. You're doing too much. And like I said, I knew it was going to be difficult. It wasn't going to be easy, even with all the inconsistencies. It wasn't going to be easy to dismiss him because you can't dismiss him and not Diddy. And when you do this, it's a bigger thing involved. You're going to have to look at scrutiny of all Tony Buzbee's cases. Because there's nowhere on this earth, even if I was a basic lawyer for Diddy, and Tony Buzbee was found to be a whole lie and the case was thrown out, I will be right at the court for every case that Buzbee had against my client, asking the judge to throw it out. It's a lot going on here, y'all. We're going to stay connected to this story. I appreciate y'all for spending time with me. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. We will stay connected and close to all of these stories. Thanks for being here, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo, choo.
Do not cheat the diva.